know how important every game is about that.
Nobody wants to play these guys in the first round because Showtime's alive and well.
We got a little mustard on that baby.
And just when you thought the Bulls were out of the picture, look who crashes the party.
Jordan for the win.
Yeah! He is now back! So, do the right thing and focus your attention on NBA action.
Oh, you gotta love that action!
This right here is a knucklehead ritual. This right here is called a tight fade slap. Every time you get a tight fade, you gotta get a slap on first. Right? Yeah.
This week on NBA action, everybody's taking their shots at the Magic, while Dennis's Spurs continue to lick the competition. We've got the playoff picture covered from all angles.
Good drive by Wright. Oh, he hammered it down.
We'll take an inside look at what's making this guy so happy. And profile a high-flying Denver Nugget.
Oh, baby, take that.
So stay right there, because we're coming at you.
Let's do this together, baby. We did it all year together. Let's do it now.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3, rock it.
Penny Hardaway. Ah, yes. Miller time in your face. Oh, my. Ewing has been magnificent tonight. Who goes for the win? It's yours. Matumbo embraces the ball. Hakeem Olajuwon takes it away. Yes, Payton with a rebound. Yeah, oh, my, the Admiral.
We begin this week's action reel with the owners of the league's best record, the San Antonio Spurs. Despite a game-high 29 points from the Admiral, David Robinson, the Spurs went to another sharpshooter for the game-winning shot.
Person got it at the buzzer. The Spurs win their 13th in a row to tie the club record on a blast from the rifleman.
When it comes down the stretch, we win all the close games. We just know in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, everybody trusts each other.
The Spurs placed their trust in the Admiral against Golden State, and he delivered as San Antonio posted its franchise record 14th straight win.
You know, we need to go out and do the things night in and night out that we've been doing. And if we continue to do that, we'll be right where we want to be.
Next, the Spurs went to L.A. looking for a club record 26th road win. Robinson and Vinny Del Negro led the way as San Antonio got a franchise-tying 56th win.
We don't think of it as a streak. We think of it as business as usual. We're doing what it takes to win.
In the Eastern Conference, another team doing what it takes to win are the Boston Celtics, who are trying to hold on to the final playoff spot. They're being led down the stretch by their point guard, Sherman the General Douglas.
Douglas trying to bump off bodies. Big step through for Sherman. He has hurt the Cavaliers with his wizardry through the paint.
Later in the week, the Magic Act moved back home to Boston.
We have to win at home, take care of business at home. We've been struggling at home. We got to take care of Philadelphia, go on the road, and win a couple of games.
And their streak would continue against the Sixers.
Sherman leaves it. Neek wants it. Got it!
Dominique Wilkins' 31 points paced the Celtics as they entered the stretch looking to make a strong run.
If you want to be a playoff team or a good team, you have to feel like you can be able to make a run at any time.
Then Boston's run of success took them to Washington, where they extended their longest winning streak of the season.
Celtics with them 15 straight wins, and they have taken the gunpowder away from the Bullets.
The Bulls have plenty of firepower now that Michael Jordan's back. Jordan exploded for 30 points in the second half as the Bulls gutted it out against the Nets for their 5th straight win.
It's ugly, but it's a win. You know, that counts. I can't really comment on where they were earlier before this point, but in my memory, in the past, when we played ugly and we won games, that makes a big difference at the end.
In their next game, the biggest difference was a balanced Bulls attack. And the visiting Cavs had no answers as 4 Bulls scored in double figures.
A little high, but look out. Oh, yeah! 1, 2, 3. Pep is to follow a man.
MJ comes inside.
What a move!
Next, the Bulls moved on to Cleveland, where they'd lost 5 straight. Would MJ's return to the site of some of his best performances be enough?
Jordan wants the quick shot. Gets it from 3-point.
And with just a second left in the game, Cavs fans hoped that it wouldn't be.
It does not happen here this afternoon.
While the Cavs beat the Bulls, in this week's news, notes, and quotes, we find that Cleveland also suffered a loss, as Terrell Brandon fractured his leg and will be lost for the season.
This basketball team continually gets beset by injury after injury.
Also sidelined is Seattle shooting guard Kendall Gill, who's been diagnosed with clinical depression and is out indefinitely. The 5-year veteran contributed 14 points a game for the Sonics this season and hopes to be back in time for the playoffs. Dallas point guard Jason Kidd was selected Schick Rookie of the Month. In March, Kidd raised his scoring average by 7 points a game, and he recorded his first 2 triple-doubles to start the month of April.
For me, it's just really trying to pick and choose when to turn it up and when not, to just relax and let your teammates try to do some of the work.
MVP candidate David Robinson won the NBA Player of the Month award, averaging 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game, as the Spurs race to the top of the NBA standings with a 14-2 record in March. And Denver's Bernie Bickerstaff was named IBM Coach of the Month, as the slumping Nuggets leap back into playoff contention under their 3rd different coach this season.
I just think the players are doing an exceptional job. They seem to be getting confidence, and they're utilizing what they have.
Coming up next, we'll take a look at the legacy of great clutch shooters.
And I think that's the kind of attitude you have to have. You can't be afraid.
But we're not afraid of showing off our best stuff. Coming up in this week's edition of NBA Encore.
Here goes Rozier. Three-pointer at the horn. Oh, boy.
The NBA, I love this game.
Starks goes baseline. Come on, Barkley. Oh, yes. Oh, I love this game. Give me some love. Big time block. Got to have love. You gotta love it. Murdoch. You gotta love it, baby. Gary Payton. Fantastic tap. Yeah, baby.
I love this game.
It's the sweat.
And things beginning to heat up. He is on fire.
It's the muscle.
You're so strong. So strong. He turns any court into Muscle Beach.
It's the ultimate workout.
Look at Robinson. Where did he come from? What an effort by Grant. Starks pokes it away. Look at him work. Oh, what a block. Fantastic tap. He'll play it down. He went airborne.
I love this game.
When your team sees that and your coach, that just gets you going.
Now from the NBA Special Champions and Challengers, a look at the legacy of great clutch shooters. For the very first time he put on a Laker uniform, Jerry West showed he had no fear of taking the big shot in pressure situations.
It's almost like an arrogance that you don't think you can fail. And particularly when the game's on the line, it seems like it's easier.
2 seconds. 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. West threw it up and makes it.
You know, a lot of times in my career, you know, we go over and have a timeout and be a close game or a tie game, and I didn't want to play to be run. Just give me the basketball, and let's see what happens. And I think that's the kind of attitude you have to have. You can't be afraid.
But Jerry West's mental toughness didn't come easily.
Where I grew up in a small town, there wasn't very much to do, so the time that I spent was shooting.
Things were much the same for another small-town kid named Larry Bird. And he would also become known for his late-game heroics for the Boston Celtics.
If you're going to be good at anything, you got to practice. And I always feel that the only way you can get better is go out there and shoot and get your rhythm. But in the game situation, you got to get to where you can hit them shots under pressure. And that's where I think that you eliminate the men from the boys down there in the game.
Williams to Bird again. Up fakes. Fires another three-pointer. Oh! Ties it up! 113 to 113!
I'm the guy they should go to because I feel I'm the guy that's going to hit the shot.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
Unbelievable.
Today, it's the Indiana Pacers' Reggie Miller who's regarded as the league's most deadly shooter. And like his predecessors, he thrives on taking and making the clutch shots.
Reggie for three.
I resort kind of back to the old school of Larry Bird and Jerry West, of coming off picks and creating my own shots and shooting long bombs and form. The game is on the line. Everyone knows where the ball is going to end up, and there's nothing that no one else on the other team can do about it. And that's the mark of a great clutch player.
Look at this shot, and he hits it. It's a three-pointer for Reggie Miller.
As Reggie Miller tries to shoot his way into NBA history, he's well aware that he's upholding a great tradition, which began with Mr. Clutch.
Being from the Los Angeles area and watching Jerry West perform for the Lakers, you know, to even be mentioned in that breath, I mean, he was a great clutch time player, and that's what I've always tried to strive myself after, is being a clutch time player.
Another Laker known for clutch plays made his mark in the record books this week in NBA history. In 1991, Magic Johnson surpassed Oscar Robertson, becoming the all-time NBA assist leader.
There it is. He got it. 9 assists. What a shot. What a pass. What an assist. All-time leader, Magic Johnson. Standing on...
Magic said a few words and gave credit to those who helped put his name in the record books.
I'd like to thank all my former teammates, Kareem on down, Jamal Norman, Coop, everybody, because without them putting the ball in the basket, there wouldn't be no record here. So I really thank them for making most of the shots most of the time.
And more than a decade earlier, two hotshots, George Gervin and David Thompson, waged an epic battle on the last day of the season for the 1978 NBA scoring title.
I started out 19 behind him and got 73, and I thought I had a pretty comfortable lead.
But Gervin would play later that day, and his teammates would do everything to help him get it done.
My teammates they really gave me a lot of confidence to say, you know, you can score, so, you know, we're going to give you that opportunity, and I went to work.
Gervin scored 53 points in the first half and 63 points in the game, edging out Thompson for the title.
You know, I mean, that is a special time in the NBA. I don't think there ever has been or going to be a battle like that.
Gervin's narrow victory over Thompson by just 7/100ths of a point marks the closest finish in a race for the scoring title. But can you name the player who won the scoring title by the largest margin of victory? The answer when we return right here on NBA Action.
It's the greatest show on earth. Flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Oh, what a circus shot that was. Whoa! Is the circus in town? We love this game.
The player who won the scoring title by the largest margin is Wilt Chamberlain, who in 1962 averaged an NBA record 50 points a game, easily outdistancing his closest competitor, Walt Bellamy, by nearly 19 points a game. The Pistons' Joe Dumars had scoring on his mind when he was on fire against Orlando. And Dumars knew he was smoking right from the start.
Ahead Dumars to the window and in again. Boy, oh boy, he is flying up the floor.
Usually takes about 2 shots. After you hit the second one, you know you're on. The first one, you know, okay, I might throw it. The second one, there's no doubt in your mind that you're on fire.
Having his way off the dribble in the first half, Joe launched a long-range barrage in the second.
He'll step into the three. Gone off bottom. Here comes Big Joe. He might pull up again. He will, and he'll hit again.
With 41 points, including 5 threes in just 3 minutes, Joe kept Detroit in the game, and it didn't matter who was in his face.
There he is again. Gone again. Oh, Joe Dumars.
By the time I took the last one, I was about 3 or 4 feet behind the old three-point line. Shaq was in front of me, and when I looked around, and it went in, and I was like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable.
And even though the Pistons lost, to this date, it's one of the greatest performances ever at the O-Arena.
Just on fire. I mean, you feel like you're on cloud nine, like you're floating. It feels like you're just out there by yourself taking long jumpers.
One of the most incredible games I have ever seen.
Next up is a Denver Nugget with incredible basketball skills. And he's on the rise.
With the 9th pick in the 1993 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Rodney Rogers from Wake Forest University.
You know, you learn a lot, and some games, you know, I didn't play up to my potential, and I think it hurt me.
This season, Rodney was forced to put the frustration of his rookie year behind him. With power forward LaFonso Ellis sidelined, Rogers has stepped forward to lead the surging Denver Nuggets.
And now I'm in a groove, and, you know, I'm just out playing, having the ball like my old self.
Whether he's wreaking havoc in the open court with rim rock and slams, or popping them in from the perimeter, Rogers has become a defender's worst nightmare.
I think in spite of Rodney's physical prowess, a lot of people don't know, but I think a lot of people are starting to realize that one of Rodney's assets is that he puts the ball down on the floor. He can cross over, he can shake and bake and get himself to the basket. He's so explosive. He finishes with nice, pretty strong dunks down there around the rim.
Get out of the way. Oh, man. Goes to work on Kugliana. Good move by Rodney Rogers.
He's playing great basketball right now. Bernie's doing a nice job with him, making him a part of the offense, and he's coming prepared to play.
Rogers and his teammates are preparing for a second straight run in the postseason. Okay, everybody, it's time for NBA Encore. And we get things rolling with some downright nasty rim rockers.
Hill up. Amazing. Michael sees a lane. Oh! One-on-one, Harold Miner. He can beat Weathers. Oh, brother. Yes, indeed.
Pistons 2-on-1 against Thompson.
Oh!
Pass and the dunk for Al.
Oh, Mr. Houston. He's got the ball. He drives around Keith. He's on reverse. Left hand slam foul.
Now for some outstanding oops that'll bring you right out of your seat. Hey, Cedric, how about an encore performance? And watch Philly get burned.
Lobbing for Rice. Oh, yeah. Over the top, it's Kemp, and he hammers another one in. Sherman tracks it down. Dominique. Overton with a lob to Weber. Back Michael. Good night.
But don't fall asleep just yet, because we've got some eye-openers coming up. It's time for some inexplicable plays which even I can't explain. Hey, do you get 2 points for that? Hey, check out this Cadillac. We just might need a tune-up.
Oh, my goodness, an air ball. They've been flirting with it all evening. The Warriors by 4. Laundry slips and slides on Smith. In and out and in and out and in again. Underneath this Miller. Oh, missed the dunk.
Okay, for the finale, we'll see some devastating D. And we'll let Shaq start us off.
O'Neal knocks it off the board. Oh, Alfonso. Yes, says D. Murray has a block by Spud Webb. Oh, will he hear about that in the flight home?
Coming up next, an inside look behind the scenes of MJ's return to the NBA.
Once I stepped on the floor, I mean, I really felt good.
Man, we think you'll feel good about the top 10 plays of the week in our courtside countdown.
Grant Hill shows ball. It's Smile. Take a bow.
And every time you see Larry, when he's smiling and showing his gold tooth, that's when you know that things are going right for him.
In this edition of Chalk Talk, we'll take a look at the Orlando Magic, who are hitting some potholes during their stretch drive. Brian Hill has seen his club lose 13 of 16 on the road and sustained some key injuries to their backcourt. Penny Hardaway's out with a throat problem, and Nick Anderson suffered a concussion in this collision with Raphael Addison. In 2 recent road losses, Orlando continued to struggle as Grant Hill racked up a triple-double. And then the Sixers' Dana Barros did the same.
This little stretch really has to worry Brian Hill. I'm not talking tonight's game, but I'm talking the last couple weeks as well. You go into Detroit, you should win that game. You come in here, you should win this game.
Now, an inside look at the celebrated return of Michael Jordan to the NBA.
Come on, man. Go, baby. It's all good, man. Let's go. What time is it?
A lot of special moments in NBA basketball. Usually the opening game of the season, the playoffs, 7th game of the series, the finals. I don't know about you, but I got the goosebumps for this one. This is very special.
That's
the other guard, 6'6", from North Carolina, number 45, Michael Jordan.
I was nervous once I got out here. I mean, not quite as nervous as I was playing baseball. Once I stepped on the floor, I mean, I really felt good. I felt very confident of being out there. I wasn't nervous at all.
Y'all know where the Bulls are playing, though. You know what? Y'all know where the Bulls are playing.
Hey, are those the ones in the store now? Are these coming out next year?
As soon as they stop filming, I'll show you my new ones for next year.
Bill Murray, you name them, they are here tonight.
They played one game in a practice. He's ready. Oh, nice play. Nice play. Hello.
Coming into the Indiana game, I was kind of new. I kind of forgot it, so I had to kind of renew those starts a little bit. And today, I could pace myself through the course of the game.
Pippen, back, Jordan! That's got them on their feet at the United Center. The steal, Jordan, look out! He's back.
It's game number 5 of the Michael Jordan reunion tour. You know that Michael just loves to play here at Madison Square Garden, and the crowd will be sky high for his New York return. Shoots again. I don't know what's more exciting than watching great expectations take place, and it's just wonderful to see an athlete like him in action. What a privilege. Jordan played very well by Starks. Good baseball, and he has given the Bulls a 111-109 lead, and that is a high for the NBA this season. 55 points by Michael Jordan.
As far as a statement game, I wouldn't go so far to say that. It was a statement that Michael Jordan's back to play basketball. I think that's one thing you can count on.
Coming up next, we'll count down the top 10 plays of the week in our courtside countdown.
Jump shot outside by Miller, banks it in, the peg, oink, oink.
An NBA game is just like a great movie. It's got action.
In your face, holy mackerel.
Suspense.
The game on the line, the score time. He sets, he shoots. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. For the win!
Even comedy. However, the love scenes could use a little work.
It was a very romantic moment.
I love this game!
Welcome back to NBA action. All right, we've saved our best for last as we bring you the top 10 plays of the week.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In our courtside countdown, we tip it off with the Sonic, who always finds slick ways to score.
Gary Payton streaks away, skips it between the wickets to Barcelona, goes to
At number 9, how's this for a royal flush by the Sacramento Kings?
Blocked by Brian Grant. Hooks it back to Brown. Shoves it ahead to Richmond. Kings break out. Cross-court feed. Michael Smith. Look at that on the open floor.
Now, believe it or not, the Mavs are making a playoff run, and they're not kidding.
On ahead to Mashburn. On the reverse throw to the foul call. What a pass. Oh, Jason Kidd does it again.
Okay, we'll stay in Dallas for number 7 as Lucius Harris hits this heave on the way to a career night.
Lucius Harris trying to get free for 3 and does.
Oh, the Lakers' Nick Van Exel dazzles them in Denver with this fabulous play.
Oh, Van Exel just threw it the general direction of the hoop and it dropped.
For number 5, we're at the Palace at Auburn Hills, where Grant Hill shows us why he's the king of his court, thank you.
Oh, what a monster dance. Absolutely the play of the day.
Well, not quite. When it comes to NBA royalty, no one can quite compare to his airness, Michael Jordan.
Jordan able to slip through and hits Michael Jordan with a reverse.
And that, I'm sure, is not one of Cleveland's Jordan rules. You never want to give Michael Jordan baseline. He can do too many things like that.
And here's another lesson at number 3. You never want to let Nick Van Exel go free in the open court.
That was some pass by Nick Van Exel.
I've never seen one quite like that.
That was nice.
We go from nice to nasty. Compliments of Rodney Rogers.
Oh, baby, take that.
And for the number 1 play of the week, Spud gets his wings clipped by Lamont Murray.
What a play! He's into the crowd. Tremendous play by Lamont Murray.
That block by Murray is the play of the game.
Just beautiful. Just beautiful.
I'm Jim Feggin for NBA Action. We leave you with another look at the aerial artistry of Michael Jordan. See you next week.
Michael comes up with a steal. Sees a lane. Oh! Here's the post up by Jordan. Off the spin. Michael. Oh, yeah. Again, they come to their feet in the United Center for Jordan.
Την εκπομπή σας προσέφερε η Pepsi Max.